Cast away on a desert island with only a 10-year-old tablet for company, which 5 films would you download to take with you? Today, in part 3 of Desert Island Downloads, I asked that very question to co-host Damien Hicks.
Superman.
Hello, and welcome to the Cult Faction Podcast, episode 132. I am your host, Paul Hawkins, and as ever, I am joined by...
Damien Hicks.
And...
Brett Summers.
That's right, so, as previously mentioned, with the silly season closing in on us, maybe finished now. But
doesn't matter.
Now that it's finished, we've got no money, so we've had to save some money and energy by turning off our spotlight for a few weeks, and instead we've decided to dedicate 3 episodes with one simple question. As mentioned, to be cast away a desert island with nothing else but a tablet. Well, hopefully some food and water as well. But you
got to find that yourself.
Bloody hell, this is a real trial. But the tablet, because it's old, can only hold 5 films. So, which would you take? And this week, we're asking that question to Damien.
It's me.
It is you.
It's my turn.
You are Damien.
Indeed I am. So, I've tackled this with a very similar vein in which you tackled it, Paul, last week or the week before, whatever it was. There's no secret. We're recording on the same night, but we're trying to keep consistency in our cadence. Yeah, in the same vein that you have, which is films that I have watched continuously, will always watch if they come on the TV, or just hold a special place in my heart that I know that I can just watch them over and over again and not be bored. It'll take me somewhere.
Like a desert island.
Like a desert island, but yeah, it will take me back home. So there's no pretense. There's no I'm the coolest dude on the block nonsense.
It's an interesting one for me, because in my head, I think I've got some of the ones that you will take. But as I said, it's the ones that you constantly will watch, and that may be different to the ones that I think that you've put on your list.
Fair enough.
So
these are in no particular order, and I'm going to get the obvious one out of the way first.
Which John Cusack film will it be?
I don't know. To be fair, I've never actually... I obviously have watched our recordings on the YouTube channel back, because I'm the one that edits them, but I never really paid attention to how much of this room you can actually see. So the obvious one, if you can see a lot in this room, the most obvious choice is Back to the Future. I've got Back to the Future Scalextrics behind the camera over there.
That sounds like a franchise.
Not if you're just taking the one film.
Okay.
That's the point.
I've got a feeling it's not going to be Back to the Future Part 2.
No, exactly. I mean, 3, to be fair, is all right.
I like 3.
So it's Back to the Future, the original. I can't say Back to the Future 1 because it's not called Back to the Future 1, and I will fight you on that. It's Back to the Future. It's got everything in it. Right. I need to say, at the very top of this conversation, I am annoyed with what Back to the Future has become in this, the cultural phenomenon, if you like, that it's, it's a whole industry now, isn't it?
We have to face facts when the world catches up with us.
Yeah, to be fair, because, you go on Amazon and type in Back to the Future, you get fucking shed loads of shite.
Have you seen the musical yet?
No, and I hate musicals, so I'm sure there's nothing wrong with it. I've spoken to people that have seen it, and they do say it's really good. And I've seen some clips, like I think they did a Children in Need thing a couple of years back.
Yeah,
and I get it, I see it, and I think that it works. But I just don't like musicals.
I've heard when you go, it's just too damn loud.
So I don't like it. I'm not interested in the musical because I don't like musicals. I don't need to talk about the film itself. Everyone knows what the film is, but it's a film. I didn't even get to the cinema to see it because we didn't go to the cinema when I was that age. It was on Christmas Day one time over on BBC One or something. Taped it and pretty much watched it.
I'm pretty sure
every year
I
since.
Got something from Shreddies or something on Back to the Future. I don't know if
Yeah,
it was like
no
cards
doubt.
or pictures or stickers or something. I can remember. Yeah, there was Superman, and then I'm sure there's some Back to the Future ones. When in the days when they put things in cereals,
Those were cool days.
Now they just put horrible shit in cereals. In those days, you actually put toys or stickers or things in that we liked.
Still remember the E.T.
It's back in the days of the
stickers.
plastic Happy Meal toy. Now
Yeah.
you don't get
Oh
those.
yes.
Now it's books and carrot sticks.
Hey.
But anyway, I don't think I need to even talk about it anymore. It's Back to the Future. It's on the list. I'm taking it with me.
I thought you would.
Yeah.
And really good film.
Yeah, great film.
Can't say any more. Well, you can say, we could speak for hours about it, but yeah.
I mean, great
Fantastic film.
great levels of detail. I mean, the whole people are still finding little time travel things that have been changed and people didn't pick up on, like names of things. I mean, the amount of people that have only just spotted the Twin Pine Moor, Lone Pine Moor, stuff like that.
Don't get me started on that nonsense. It's like, seriously, you've never watched it more than once.
But there's little things like that and just how it all fits together. And again, Billy Zane, even younger than he was in Tombstone, but yet he's still young Billy Zane. At some point, he finds a gym, but it's after Tombstone.
Yeah.
But it is a good film, and every character in it is pretty much memorable.
Yep. Every performance is good. I'd say every character's there for a reason. There's no fat in the film.
Where did you stand on the replacement of the girlfriend as the franchise moved forward?
Not ideal.
As a Die Hard. I can't remember. It went from someone to Elizabeth Shue, didn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
Right.
So Claudia Schiffer, I think her name is. I might be wrong. No, that's a model. Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's Claudia Wing.
No, it's not Claudia Winkleman either.
she came.
No, it's Claudia something.
Yeah, she came to that one they did it.
She's done a few comic cons
didn't
since.
she?
She runs her own
that one where
underwear business
that
now.
one where
or
they
something.
ripped them all off. The one what's it called? The cricket place.
Yeah. Not the Rose Bowl.
But it's the Rose Bowl. Yeah,
whatever it's called now.
She was at that one.
But they did it because they had to. I mean, depends on which story you believe. One was that she became addicted to drugs and dropped off the scene. The other is that she dropped off the scene because she had to look after her sick mum. Whichever one you believe, don't bother me. Not interested. It's her own personal life. Nothing to do with us. So it changed because it had to.
But did it suffer because of the change?
Not really, because
sound.
Claudia was only in it for probably a total of 5 minutes at the start of the film and 3 minutes at the end, and then
she's asleep the rest of the time.
Exactly, and then Elizabeth Shue was asleep for the most of the film. And they've said in the past if they knew they were going to make more than one film, they wouldn't have even had her at the end of the film anyway, because it made a complication for
the next one.
One, they had to invent the sleep algorithm generator just to get her to go to sleep. So it created they created a problem for themselves. So it doesn't.
Well, time travel does that.
Yeah, I mean the cool thing, Buck Flowers, isn't it? I mean,
oh yeah,
a genuine hero of cult.
I'm still convinced he's playing the same character in every film he's in.
He is, but it doesn't matter. It's worked for Nicolas Cage. It's worked for Matty Boy from Tombstone.
But I mean the actual same. They should just called him like Buck and just had him as the literal same character. Yeah. He's, it's all one big universe. The Flowers verse.
I mean, the jury's out. Some people say that he's Mayor Red Thomas in this because it sounds like Marty McFly calls him Red when he.
Yeah.
But you could argue that some people say no, he actually says Brett, and it was never scripted, so they don't But I like to think that it's Mayor Red Thomas that's been, he didn't get re-elected in 1955 and went completely off the rails.
Cool.
Yeah.
No
more to say. It's a great film.
worthy choice.
I'll fight you on that point, but I'm not overly keen on the cultural phenomenon that it's become.
I've been impressed. Just one more. I've been impressed on how much that, I think, because of Back to the Future as well, it drew my attention to like Hollywood lots.
Oh, I mean that has been used,
and how much things have been used so many times, and even.
But that's another thing. But I mean, I guess every generation finds out new things. But the amount of times you see on Facebook, the lot in Back to the Future is the same one they used in Gremlins, or the one they used in Gremlins is the same one they used in. What's that thing with Jennifer Love Hewitt?
I'm just going to say that.
Ghost Whisperer. Ghost Whisperer.
Yeah, there's the town in that. That was the one when I was like, but then of course they purposely missed the tower out. I think.
Yeah.
Because the tower was, the actual clock tower was put onto that, wasn't it, or something for Back to the Future, I think.
And then the clock tower is in the lot. Whether it's a clock tower or not, I think it's a town hall. It's whatever it needs to be at the time.
You know what I mean? But that was one of those first ones. And then I remember going back and watching some old episode of The Twilight Zone in black and white, and it's the same.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that lot's been there.
It's the same place.
Yeah.
And all that. Yeah, that was the sort of one of those when you get a little bit older and start understanding the makings of it all, and then you're like, wow, and we're through the looking door, we're through the looking glass here, people.
Cool.
Oh, that was another film.
Next one.
Cool. The next one, I'm gonna go for my most recent film on the list.
Ooh.
And it's a weird one. It's not the film. Well, the film probably is a little bit weird. I've put it on there because I've only seen this film twice, and I loved it so much the first time I saw it that I obviously watched it again. But that means that
The Greasy Strangler.
being stuck on a desert island means I would get to watch this more, and that's Psycho Gorman.
I knew you were going to say that.
Okay. Yeah, good
I
film.
said it at the time, and it's the best 80s movie made since 1989. It is just so on point. It's got montages, it's got crazy monster effects, it's got brilliant visual, what do you call them? It's not CGI, what's the word I'm looking for?
Practical effects, yeah.
Great practical effects. And it's got an annoying kid who actually is annoying throughout the whole film, but has to be annoying because otherwise the film doesn't work. And she just plays it perfectly.
Yeah.
It's a great film.
Don't they, at one point, don't they kill a kid who's annoying?
I can't. I've only seen it twice.
They do something to him, and they actually.
Oh no! There's a kid that
He's
turns into a
transformed.
blob.
Yeah,
and then he stays a blob.
Yeah, they don't ever reset him or
No.
make everything right at the end.
And at the end, he's sat around the
With his
table
parents.
with his parents, and they don't even notice. It's just, it's perfect. It's a brilliant film.
No, it's a good
So I've
film.
only seen it twice, so there's not a lot I can talk about.
I remember enjoying it.
It's brilliant.
And I know the directors, we looked, I think we may have seen the trailer, talked about that. He's got another one coming out soon.
There is the
little.
Psycho Gorman 2 is happening, but it's problematic.
No, he made another one.
He's made a new film
right.
with little monster dude.
Fred Savage.
It does look a bit like Fred Savage, but I don't think we're allowed to mention Fred Savage anymore.
Are we not? What's he
I
done?
think Fred Savage lives with Greg Wallace now.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
Yeah. So
don't need to worry about
that's
that
a
film
good
that we're not
choice
worried
and
about.
quite a modern one as well. So,
Exactly.
yeah,
It
well
is the
done.
newest film on my list.
I think
That
the newest
is
film
cool.
on my list was 1993.
Yeah, that's true. So to be fair,
Oh, no,
I'm doing all right.
yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go next. Stir Crazy.
I had a feeling you might do that.
And that's just because growing up, and we haven't done Spotlight on Stir Crazy, have we? We've done,
No, we did.
which is not quite on the same level.
We've talked about a lot.
We've definitely talked about it. We talked about it when we did the Spotlight or the career of Erlen. That's all.
Erlen van Leef de Jude.
That's the fella.
Yeah.
So I've probably said all this before if you're a long time listener, but Stir Crazy, me and my brother taken to the video shop some point in the early 80s, just saw the cover of two blokes dressed as chickens and thought, that's going to be funny. And we were not wrong. And me and my brother loved it so much, we pestered my parents to go and buy the film, which was unheard of in the early 80s, to go and buy a VHS. It was in our house anyway. That was not the done thing. And watched it continuously. And there are so many performances in that, and so many comedic scenes just that out of context make no sense, but they're just hilarious.
Rodeo, don't they?
Yeah, basically their plan to escape prison is to escape during the rodeo, because it turns out that Gene Wilder's character can ride a bull.
Really good at rodeo.
It's like they put him on there as a punishment originally to make him stop being a twat, and he's just like, oh, this is fun. Can you speed it up? And he's just like, they're just in awe of how well he can ride the mechanical bull. So they hatch a plan to escape via the rodeo.
They got some gambling thing with the other prisons, haven't they, or something?
The guards have.
That's why it's coming back now. Yeah.
But there's just so many comedic elements to that film, and I've not really researched it, but to this day I don't know how much was ad-libbed, how much was scripted. But you know, when they're trying to break Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor by not giving him any food and water and stuff, and they make it back to their cell, and he's just going, pillow. And just, even so now, if I was to go to my brother's house now and just knock on the door and go, pillow, he'd piss himself. Like, he wouldn't be annoyed that it's 10 to 11 at night, and I just think it's brilliant. It's of all the films that they've done together, it has to be the best, I think. It's not Bullet Train, is it?
Silver Streak. I was just going to say, the one I always loved, I always liked that one. The one I always loved was Silver Streak as a kid. All I remember is it's got Patrick McGowan in it. Or McGowan, yes, I said. Yeah. The prisoner and all that. But I can't really remember much about it now. But I know I'd recorded it on video off the telly at some point, and I know there was some big dude in it. I think there was like an old wrestler in it or something as well, one of the like the thugs.
Yeah.
But I can't remember. I was going to say maybe it's one we could revisit at some point if it's on there. But it's always the one that gets forgotten as well. And I'm definitely.
I think it's superior to.
I'm sure it's definitely better.
Don't look now.
I'm sure it's better than See No Evil, Hear No Evil, because that was trash, really, wasn't it?
I mean, there's some funny bits in.
Yeah, they're good, but as a film itself, I mean, they're both, they're very talented people, but this was clearly it was the Second Coming album, wasn't it? There's some nice bits in it, but as a whole, it was a bit overly done and a bit not what we wanted. But
cool.
But
worthy choice
to bring in the Stone Roses as a comparison. I don't know where that came from, but yeah,
cool.
But yeah, good choice.
Next, we're going to go for The Fog.
There's something in The Fog. I have been trying to get Kate to watch this show. I've got it recorded on the Skybox.
So obviously the original, not the
early
2000s remake, which again actually isn't that bad, to be fair, but.
Not the original.
This is to me anyway, is a perfect way of doing creeping, foreboding horror. Because yes, I mean, obviously there's deaths and stuff at the start, quite early on, but it's not. None of it's over the top. It's not stupid teenagers getting trapped in stupid situations, and what it almost kind of harks back to your M.R. James and
you get your small town America as well. You get your
it's a Stephen King-y kind of thing going on.
You get the radio, Annette, what's her face, Mrs. John Carpenter on the radio. Yeah. You get the different people around the town and all that sort of stuff.
But there's a it's not just some random killer, or it's not just some you know, as much as the Elm Street ones are good because they do have a backstory, the backstory is still pretty light. The reason for them coming back 200, is it 200? It is 200 years later, is the whole shipwreck, and they took their gold and all that. Yeah. There's a whole, like I said, it is almost an old school ghost story. Just brilliant. Yeah. And the autopsy, it's not necessarily an autopsy, but the scene in the morgue is great when it just lifts up. And one of the main reasons I've chosen it is because it will always remind me, again, when we were kids, at an age we shouldn't have been watching it. It was me, my mum and brother were watching it. My dad was probably at work. We were watching it, and we literally had at the door. We shat ourselves. No one wanted to answer the door. It was like, I'm not, no. And we had to, I think it was my brother in the end, peeked out the window, and it was my uncle or something returning something they'd borrowed. But it was almost as if he'd been looking through the window, thought, they're watching the fog, and it's the right point to knock on the door. But just so well timed. So again, that, you know, as I said at the top of this, I'm choosing these films aren't. I mean, these are good films, but they're not necessarily chosen on the
and
merit
also,
of
you
directing.
Got the sci-fi, you got the comedy, you got horror.
There's everything in this. Yeah,
cool.
It is a great film, and probably one of the few John Carpenter films where there's actually an ending. And it's not some weird cliffhangery kind of, and then there was
it all resolves.
Yeah.
Yep. It resolves in the church, doesn't it?
Yeah, oh, yes, it does.
Yeah,
yeah. It's a childhood memory for me. It just always reminds me of that time I saw a priest get viciously murdered by a pirate.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh yeah, it reminds me of the fog.
But just brilliant film. Well, at least we want to. God, I've rattled through these, haven't we?
Cool. Good.
Is that all 5?
No, we've got one more left.
Bloody hell.
And that is
the wrong trousers.
If anything, it would be a grand day out. Oh, excuse me. No, it's American Werewolf in London.
I didn't even think of that.
Perfect blend of
Brian Glover,
horror and comedy. Well, yeah, it's got Brian Glover in it. It's got
Glover.
You know, telling them one of the worst jokes ever, but delivered perfectly. The visual effects in it are great. Obviously, Richard Barker.
Yeah, Richard Barker.
Richard Barker, yeah.
Rick Baker? Rick Barker.
Is
it's Rick
is
Baker.
It Barker or Baker?
Baker,
Gee, I should have done my research.
No, I think it is Baker, but I think depending on, it's Rick Barker, man. You know, depending on who's talking in the documentaries.
Yeah. But that transformation scene, I don't think has ever been bettered. And now with CGI, I don't think you can. Because it would look...
It would completely different look and feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember watching that when I was very young at my granddad's house. While he was puffing away on cigarettes and, you know, put that VHS on. It's like, yep. Okay. That's going to give me nightmares. Thanks.
It was just the all-round fucked upness of it. Because you had the initial, the backpackers, the scary pub, you know, a young Rick Mail as well, Brian Glover, you know, all that sort of stuff. But then you get all the... And that bit's cool. And then you get the bit where Griffin Dunn comes back to him, and each time he's a bit more messed up because he's been dead longer, and the cinema stuff as well, you know, all the people that he's killed and whatever, you know, and all those side of it. But then you get all the fucked up nightmares as well, where you get the very clever, again, I think we talked about this before, like, I think it was probably the first mainstream dream within a dream. It was like, you know, which everyone has ripped off since. And then the random shit with the Nazi werewolves on motorbikes. That was like when Young Ones, you know, it was just like some real random that had nothing to do with it at all. And it's never really explained. It was just like a joke, and then it cuts back again.
No,
you know,
if anything, it's just like
it's a different film.
Yeah,
really.
It's like his psychosis.
Werewolf dreams.
Yeah,
exactly. Maybe that's it. It's
then,
werewolf. It's what you have. The kind of dreams you have if you're a werewolf.
Yeah, werewolf. And,
Got to be careful how many times I say it because I can't say it. But
Jenny Agutter holds out her end,
yeah,
Certainly does.
sometimes literally.
yeah.
And
So there's a little add-on for you if you're
Yeah.
alone type scenario on a desert island.
and and if it was Mandy from EastEnders, wasn't it? Was the little girl with the walking the dog?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Who-
a
who married-
it's a
she
very
married
good
Barry.
blend of but it's a good blend of horror. There's
Yeah.
I can't think of a horror comedy that actually has true scary moments in.
Scream's got to be the closest.
Yeah, and they're not really. There's a few chilling bits in
Yeah.
Scream,
But it's more slasher. Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not really
but
hard.
I can't think of another horror comedy that's gone as far in the scares as it does in the laughs. Because if I think of horror comedy, I think of like the Leslie Nielsen Dracula stuff, or
Dead and Loving It and all that.
or
Scary
the
movies
scary
and all
movies.
that.
Yeah, exactly. Where they just they're only leaning into the comedy. They're not leaning into the horror.
Bloodbath in the House of Death was a bit disturbing, but it was Kenny Everett in that, so it was a bit more.
Yeah. That's very camp.
Yeah, and it is
From the
very-
outset, that's camp.
It's
So that takes you. But this, you. I mean, to be fair, there is nothing funny in it for the first 40 minutes or so, because it's them.
Well, I mean, you get the I missed, I never miss.
Yeah, but even that's
Yeah.
that's
It's
not
still scary.
It's not laugh out
Yeah.
loud funny. That's still quite chilling, and obviously there's Brian Glover telling his joke, but
But that's
It's not until-
But that's scary because you have to laugh because he's going to kill you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just English pub.
Yeah.
It's funny because we know
We've
the
all been in
situation.
pubs like that.
I'd be interested in how Americans took that or other people because it's we've been in there where you've got to laugh at this guy because he's
Yeah.
the local nutter.
yeah, exactly,
And quick laugh.
Yeah.
Don't get a lift with him.
exactly. And if you laugh at the wrong point, he does a
Yeah.
Joe Pesci on you,
Yeah.
and
Begbie. It's another. But it's a great film, and also a young Nick Cotton is one of the policemen at the end. If you
Yep.
glance quick enough, but it's on his CV.
yeah, and the policeman that gets his head bitten off was also a policeman in the bill.
Yeah, the sergeant, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the dude. Sorry, just to chop
No,
off the
carry on.
The guy that gets killed in the tunnels is Bib Fortuna in Return of the Jedi. Jabba the Hutt's mate.
Oh
with
yeah,
the big
yeah,
long
yeah, with the
things.
thing, yeah.
Yeah, and but yeah, no, it was a great film, and it really did fuck me up a bit as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mainly, it was
Unfortunately,
the
they made
werewolf
American
bit.
Werewolf in Paris.
We don't
but
talk about
let's
that.
talk about that the better.
Yeah, someone made it. It's nothing to do with it.
Cool.
Good
But,
choices.
yeah,
All
and,
different.
and the soundtrack as well. Every song had Moon in it.
Yeah.
It's like even the soundtrack is hilarious if you actually listen close enough because it's. I didn't put Fright Night down.
Too late.
I
Too late
know.
now. You can't even mention your honorary mentions because
Oh yeah, no,
not your
it's
episode.
done now. But that
Did you
just
have any
reminded me of
honorary-
it with the soundtrack.
I do.
Let's go through your honorary mentions
Just
then.
a few because I wasn't going to do it, and then I just thought of it whilst we were doing the
Yeah.
other recordings. So SFX, the
Oh, Brian Brown.
Brian Brown with when they're
FX,
he's fighting with
Murder
the
by
clown.
Illusion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
love that. Great.
I forgot about that film.
Yeah, They Live, which I took off my list because you had it on your list
Yeah.
in your first episode. Bill and Ted's
Excellent adventure.
Excellent Adventure, the original.
They came off and on my list. That
Yeah, same here actually. And lastly, but there could have been so many more. But Ruthless People, the Judge Reinhold and
That's when they kidnapped Bette Midler.
they
innit?
kidnapped Bette
Oh,
Midler.
yeah,
Danny
yeah.
DeVito. Danny DeVito is the obnoxious husband who wants her gone anyway.
Yeah, because he won't pay the kidnap fee. Will he?
yeah,
And all that.
just-
yeah.
It's a kind of screwball slapstick, just very funny.
Touchstone Pictures present. I think that's
Yeah.
the first Touchstone when I'd seen. Like, oh, that's a film company.
But yeah, that's it. That's
good.
I could go on, but I won't.
No, cool. Good choices. So that's
Yeah.
it for our time on a desert island with our disc.
Free.
Download.
Downloads, no discs,
Whatever. Yeah, so
copyright and all that.
I'm just thinking what we're doing in 2 weeks' time, but
It'll be 2025.
We'll be back to our spotlight, which was my my choice, which was Identity.
That's
Identity.
right. Yeah. Identity.
The John Cusack thriller.
I think Ray Liotta, isn't it? I've forgotten now.
Yeah. But yeah, so we will be back to our normal programming.
Yeah.
Our normal program will resume shortly.
But for tonight, God, I'm discombobulated now. God, I was trying to think. What, do I need to come to someone to choose something?
Producer comes along, changes the
know.
format, and that's it. They all lose their minds.
Yeah, so thanks for watching 132, where Damien's been given his top 5 films that you take away to the desert island. What do you think, though? Have you got any comments? We'll leave them on the screen if you're watching.
I wouldn't necessarily say they're my top 5 films. They're
On
the
the
top
take
5.
with you on a desert island?
Yeah.
Is he right? Is he wrong? Would you take 5 different films? Let us know
What would be your top 5? Yeah.
by either posting comments on YouTube or all the socials where you're listening. You can also email us at
cultfashionpodcast@mail.com.
if you've got any suggestions for further spotlights potentially as well. And if you want to check out the mothership with all the news, reviews, every now and again there's a competition. Not at the moment, but there might be soon.
There was, but now time to put that up. Wasn't it?
Go to...
cultfaction.com.
So again, just thanks for listening and watching. I've been Paul Hawkins and I've been joined by...
Brett Summers.
And...
Damien Hicks. Goodbye.
Good night.
Farewell.
Superman.